everyone. This is Randy Lindsey with MT4Professional. We're going to get started here real quick. I just want to get a quick feedback from everyone to make sure you can hear me, that my screen is seen, and that my voice is heard. If you can let me know, either in the chat window. Pull that over here so I can see that. That'd be great. Awesome. Good. All right, we'll go ahead and get started then. All right, thank you for being here and for joining us today. Today we're going to be going over MT4Professional's market scanner and the entire platform. If you are in our trial period right now, then I'm sure you'll have quite a few questions, and I'll be glad to answer each and every question in the order that they're received. So on the questions panel, there is a question. We'll be glad to enter. If you would be so kind as to enter your questions there, then we'll get to them and answer them appropriately. Or if you just throw your question in the chat box as well, either one, I'll try to do my best to make sure that the questions are done. So just to go over that, we can start off by doing recordings of the session. As far as your questions are concerned, let me know as I'm going through the presentation if you have a specific question. Otherwise, I can just present the basics of the whole MetaTrader 4 professional platform, okay? The recording is available, and we'll send out a link to you once it's completed to the recording. Absolutely. All right. How many times have you said, I missed that trade? Well, if you look at the number of Forex pairs that are out there, 50 plus 250 CFD pairs, 9 different time frames. That's just the basic MT4 setup. You've got over 630 combinations. So do you really think you're able to handle and view that many pairs, that many possible setups, that many possible ideas or opportunities? Most people can't. So today, trading with different instruments, it's a must to make profitable trading and to make profitable trade decisions based upon information that you have at your disposal. And if you can't find the trade, or if you don't even know the trade's going on, how are you going to do that? So the perfect solution for that is the market scanner. A market scanner is basically an automated tool. It allows you to see or to scan the entire market as it sits right now. So at a single glance, for any symbol or any time frame, it finds the setups and the information that you need based upon your own trading rules. So it's not a signal provider. What it does, it's a tool that allows you to analyze your strategies on all the markets, showing you only what you need to see. So a simple example, a cross with 2 moving averages, okay? So the image to the right here shows a simple scan setup of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different pairs. Each one of these pairs are set up on 3 different time frames. So that's 24 different combinations. But in a single glance, you can look through the setup, and anything that's red is showing a bearish cross, and anything that's green is showing a bullish cross if we're looking at a moving average 15 and a moving average 30. So if your 15 crosses above your 30, it's bullish, it'll be green. If it crosses below 30, it's bearish. So very quickly, based upon MT4 scanner, you can see that the Australian New Zealand and the Swiss yen are both extremely bearish. None of them are completely bullish across all 3 time frames. But you can see on the hourly that the Aussie CAD has gone into a bullish trend, which is aligned with the daily trend, but the 4-hour chart has cycled out. So you can see that we are in between. The only one that's the strongest are the Aussie, New Zealand, and the Swiss yen. So those are the only ones that you would be seeing to the short side. So that's just a simple example to kind of show you the possibility of what a market scanner is, how it works, and the information it can present to you very quickly. So one glance, you can very quickly see 24 different setups and scenarios and how you would be inclined to trade those. So what is multi-time frame analysis? Well, if you don't already know it, it's a process of looking at multiple time frames to determine if you're in sync or out of sync with the bigger trends. So the little chart, the picture that you see over here on the right, you can see a 4-hour move. You can see the differences in the wave patterns. You can see a hourly move, which will have 4 of these different moves within every single hour. And then you have a 15-minute, which will also have 4 different moves within each hour. So overall, you can see that the 15-minute is moving up in line with the 60-minute, which is just moved 1 up, in line with the 4-hour, which has still formed but is moving up. So you can see that when the market looks like it's moving down, this hourly 15-minute chart could be moving up. So you would be moving against the overall trade direction. So you can see several times that you can be moving down in agreement, but then you can see here the market's going up, but you have a down move, here's a down move, here's a down move. All the while the longer time market was going up. So those are just simple corrections. And you can see on the 15-minute, you're going to have a lot of downs during that period of uptrend. And you'll even have some downs in the period of the 60-minute trend. But those are just simple corrections because the overall trend is still up. So looking at multiple time frames is a powerful tool that helps you to relate to your own time frames and your own analysis. Using the market scanner, it's important because you can scan both multiple time frames and your own rules on the time frames that you're interested in together. Okay, so that's another level of simplicity that the scanner can do for you, but yet it's complex in that it's sophisticated and it allows you to delve deep into the longer term trends, but it shows you when those trends align, when the longer term trend aligns with your shorter term trend, and then you've got some powerful moves when that occurs. And what about other professional scanners? MT4 scanner is the only one that is moving in line with the tools. So what we're looking at is the ones that are out there right now, we've really found that they're either too complex to figure out, that is, you've got to have a lot of programming skills in order to program or use the scanners. They're either unstable or there's just a single tool that cannot integrate with the entire system. Some of them are incompatible with a lot of the indicators. And so if you have a bunch of different indicators you like to use, the scanners just don't work with them. And there's lots of other issues that we can go into, but for the most part, our solution, MT4Professional Scanner, is highly intuitive, very integrated, and is constantly improving. So we decided to create it ourselves for our own trading to make sure that it worked and that it worked for us. And now that we've verified that it does, we are releasing it and making it available to our audience and to you guys as well. All right. What we're going to go over today, I'll go over the basics of what MT4Professional is. I've gone into a little bit more details of what the scanner is in terms, but I want you to understand what the general MT4Professional terms are. We've already gone through the basic feature summary of the scanner, but I'll go through a live demonstration and give you guys a very special offer if you haven't already taken advantage of getting your own copy of MT4Professional. We'll get you on that. And throughout the entire session, we're open to questions and answers. So please answer. I'll give you answers for whatever question that you ask, best I can, during this presentation. So MT4Professional is a framework that integrates with the MT4 platform, the MetaTrader 4 platform, and it gives you a fully customizable and functional platform that extends all the functions of MT4, but it makes them much more professional, i.e. you get one-click integration, market scanner technology, trade management, multiple time frame integration, custom time frame integration, and lots more. So you can set these up to be any setup that you like, any configuration that you like, and you don't have to have programming skills in order to use it. Right? So stop missing trades, stay tuned because it's always with you. That is, you never have to miss your opportunities because all of the alerts and updates can come to you on your mobile devices, either from the cloud or on your when you're traveling. You have better technical analysis because not only do you have multiple time frames, but you have custom time frames as well. So you're not locked in to the standard MT4 timeframes. You can have your own custom set of timeframes like 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 42 minutes, and so forth. And then everything is synchronized and fully backed up on the cloud. So MT4Professional is fully cloud-based, and so everything, even your configurations, are backed up and saved on the cloud so that you never have to worry about losing data ever again, or your configurations. And if you travel and you get to a new computer, all you have to do is install MT4Professional one time, very quick install with a login and password, and you're already up and running. All of the cloud configurations are already at your disposal and ready to go. Going through these, when we say fully customizable, this just refers to MT4Professional only. It does not refer to MT4 itself, because we have not changed anything with regards to MT4. We have just created a plugin, an expert advisor that basically wraps itself around MT4 and enables you to use it with all the professional features that we've gone through. Okay. A desktop is basically a collection of workspaces, scanners, and symbol lists. And I'll show you a real quick example of that. A smart workspace is a collection of charts. They're placed on your desktop in the spaces that you define. A scanner, multiple time frame color-coded display of the MT4 indicators, outputs, or any of your own symbols or tools and rule sets. And then the symbol list is just a simple list of the symbols that you are interested in. You define the list. You display only what you're interested in, and that gives you the integration with the scanners and the desktops that are there. Okay, we've gone through most of that very quickly. We've gone through the scanner workspaces. You can see that the workspaces can be set up in any configuration. You're not predisposed to say, I want 1, 2, or 3 charts set up. You can set it up in any configuration that you like, and it's simple. This over here on the left is your configuration, and over on the right is the display. So you can see that there are 6 different screens set up here. Over here, you can see there are 9, but the picture setup is different from this. So if I wanted to see a setup on this side, it would display over on this side the same exact way. So I should see a picture of 6 charts on this side with a configuration of 6 charts on this side. In addition to that, you have the ability to configure each one of the inputs, time frame, symbol, template that's used, and the overall size itself are all custom definable. And it's not, you can customize them and save them in any setup that you like. And I'll show you an example of each one of those as we get into it. Mobile real-time scanner alerts. So on your phone, you can have the MT4Professional scanner auto display and auto update for you in real time from the cloud, either on your device, your tablet, or if you log in to the website in the back end, then you can see an active scanner complete with the charts that are set up with it. So all of these can come across as an alert as well. So if you get a setup that you have tied an alert to, then right here is a quick example of an alert message that you would receive. Whatever title that you've given it, it'll tell you the scanner that was used, the symbol that it occurred on, and what the condition was, and then a link to the real-time scanner on the website, and a snapshot if you need to see the actual picture of the chart that the trade signal occurred on. So you're not missing anything. You're getting live updates, live signals. You don't have to be glued in front of the monitor. You can be out doing what you need to do. You get a signal, you get an alert, you pull up your trader on your phone, you can take the trade and manage it until you get back to your office. Very, very streamlined. Multiple time frame analysis, we talked about that, how we can integrate that and use not only 1, 5, 15-minute time frames, but you can integrate them and use them together. And you can even synchronize those. Notice the cursors that are here. The cursor can be synchronized at a specific point on a 1-minute chart, and then you can see exactly on the 15 or 5-minute chart where that same location occurred. Exact same time marker and everything. So everything is set up and can be configured. This is a really nice tool, because before you really couldn't synchronize these things by just simply moving a cursor on your screen, but now you can by moving this cursor. The cursor on the 5, the 15, the 30-minute time frames all move at the same time. So here's another example of a 4-hour and a 1-hour. Here's showing the 1-hour alignment. Here's the 4-hour alignment, not only with it being the horizontal, but the vertical as well. So you get a time alignment and price alignment on both time frames. Very powerful. Custom time frames. Here is an example of using 3-minute and 6-minute time frames, using the cursor alignment keys and the multiple time frames. So not only are you limited to, you're no longer limited to fixed MT4 time frames. You can have them configured and set up at any setup or any time frame that you like. When we say flexible integration and no programming, that's exactly what we mean. You can have your setup rules. This is a symbolist configurator. You have a list of all of the symbols that are available on your platform from your broker, and then you just pull them over or add them to the list, or you can define them here by just typing it in and add these to your list. Once you have your list defined, then you give it a name and save it, and you're good to go. Okay. So that's the symbol configurator. You access the configurators by clicking on the little green pencil. This is the edit button within each of the configurations. So by clicking on these, you can edit and change or update any of the configuration panels. The X allows you to delete any of those. So if you made a mistake, or if you don't even want this anymore, then you can click the X and it will come up with a screen to confirm that you want to delete this moving average scanner template. If you want to add a new one, that's what the little plus is for. So click on it and it'll allow you to pull up and add a brand new workspace or scanner or symbolist. And then the collection, the workspaces, the scanners, and the symbol lists all are contained within the desktop. So the desktop name will automatically preload all of the workspaces, scanners, and symbol lists that you have set up for it. Again, it's fully cloud-based, so you don't have to worry about losing anything, and you can pull it up and you can even share it with other MT4Professional users from the cloud. So the cloud is a very powerful tool. You can even use it as a social tool as well, to take a snapshot and to share it on Twitter, Facebook, StockTwits, or whatever platform that you're linked to. And by pulling up the Professional Traders Network built within MT4Professional, just type in the name of someone that you know is in a fellow user or within your trading group, and then you'll see a list of names that match that. Click on the person that you're linked to, and you can send them any of your symbol lists or your configuration files. So if you've done all the heavy lifting, you're trying to help them to get going, then this is a great way to do that. You can send it to them, or likewise, someone else can send you information, and that would be located here in your inbox. So it's a great way to leverage the common experience and the collaboration within a network of traders. And other features, of course, accurate order entry. You have a very nice order entry panel that comes up and allows you to set up market entries or exits, limit or stops, where you have predefined colored lines that show you where your profit target, your stop loss, and where your current entry levels are. It helps you to define your risk to reward ratio and what your risk reward ratio is and the amount of risk relative in percentage to the overall amount of capital that's you have available to trade. So if you only want to risk 1% of your trade, then this will load up the number of contracts or number of lots that you need in order to fill a 1% risk within that trade. And that's going to be based upon the stop level that's here. So this stop is a certain level from this entry price. It's going to load up the number of contracts, the number of lots that are based upon this risk value. And then the distance from the entry point to the take profit point relative to that risk point gives you your reward risk ratio. Very simple. You also have two different setups. You can see the exact configuration of any sells or any buys that you have in the market. You can see on the comment tab the exact information that you had on that, the time frame that it came from, and any other information that you might have put on that trade. This is just gibberish, but it's a test to show you that the comments and the information that you had related to that trade can be set up and updated here. And then you can also look at any historical trades and any charts that it came from. By clicking on the view button, then you can automatically pull up in MT4Professional the time and chart and location of that trade and be able to see and analyze your trades after the fact. So let's go through and very quickly go through into a demonstration. And I will pull up my MT4Professional platform. Everyone see that okay, I hope. I'm currently looking at the SMA cross. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out of MT4Professional just into some standard setup. And I'm going to go back into MT4Professional. See, because you can see this is just normal MT4, so I can move and do anything in here that I'm used to. But once I go back into MT4Professional setup, then it's going to automatically set up and load for me the default setup for the charts. So I have a blank desktop that's waiting for me to tell it what to do. This is the normal setup when you log into MT4Professional, and this is what you should expect to see. So the quickest way to do it is just to load a desktop. A desktop can be found by clicking the caret on the right, and it comes up with a whole list of any desktops that you have already pre-configured. Okay, so I was using the SMA cross. I can pull up the EMA plus price. It's a simple setup where it loads an EMA and price workspace, an EMA and price scanner, and a Forex symbol list. This Forex symbol list has been defined to look at the 30-minute and the hourly timeframes for these symbols. If I wanted to, I have several symbol lists defined. Say that I only wanted to look at Australian dollar or euro pairs only. Well, I will click that, Australian dollar only, and now you can see I only have Australian dollar denominated pairs here that are listed. And it's going to show me what price is relative to this simple moving average. I mean, this exponential moving average. So I have an EMA on the chart. Let's see what EMA is that. Moving average 15. So I've got an EMA 15 on a price chart. So if price is less than the EMA, I'll get a red. If price is greater than the EMA, I'll get a green. So we're looking at either bullish or bearish signal based upon just a simple price move. The scanner, if we were to look at the scanner itself, is a simple configuration that gives us that information. This is the configuration for that. The columns, this defines what's displayed in the column. I've got an M30 and an H1, okay? If I don't put anything in the symbol column here, then it will by default display the time frame. I could type in something here like 30M or 1 hour, and it will display that on the very top. You can define the size here. This is the physical cell size that this is going to be, 50 pixels wide. 90 pixels is the width of the symbol. And the overall size of the window, that's this window right here, is defined right here. So I have 300 pixels from here to here. And if I didn't want this much space, I could change this and make it say 250. And it will move this down just a little bit, and it will give me a 50 less pixel size screen. If I were to save this, save scanner, notice the name of the scanner turns yellow. That tells you that there has been a change to EMA and price scanner. And in order to realize this, you need to reload it. So reload your EMA plus price. The color goes away. Notice the size of the window got smaller, and I redisplay my charts just like that. Okay, let's go back to the scanner configurator again. The indicators are the tools that you use to do your analysis. So in this case, we're using an EMA 15. That's the name I gave to the custom moving average. If I were to click on this, then you can see a window pops up. Oops, wrong one. That allows me to look at any of the indicators I have available here, either through MT4Professional or on my MT4Professional and MT4 platform. In this case, I just simply looked at a custom moving average right here, and I loaded it in, the custom moving average. The index is the reference to the actual output of the data. And this is probably, of all the things within MT4Professional, this is probably the most complicated part. And that's just understanding the index value. So if you were to pull up and look at the data window, so I can do that real quick here. Yeah, I can. So if I were to view my data window right here, then you can see that on the chart, anywhere on the chart, you can see that the MA15 has a single output. There's only one output on the MA15. So that by default is index 0. By default. So index 0 is the output of the moving average. If I had two outputs, like a MACD, it would have two different outputs displayed. Then I'll have an index 0, which is the moving average, and the index 1 would be the MACD itself. So that's probably the most complicated. Just remember that the outputs are listed by index value, and it always starts at 0. The first one would be 0, the second one would be 1, the third one would be 2, and so forth. That's literally the most complicated part of the whole thing. You get that down, you won't have a problem with any of the rest of it. The first parameter, if you were to look at the indicator itself, it's looking for a list of information. The first parameter that you come across is the speed. So it says what is the look back period? This is a 15 period moving average. So we put a 15 in, and then that's set up to do. Okay. So the closed price, to validate the price, then we just put in a moving average that's looking at a 1 period. So you're basically looking at a constant price that's moving with price. So you're basically looking at a moving average and a moving average, but we're referring to it as the price close because it's using a single look back period. It's the close of the price. Those are the indicators. We use the indicators down in our rules to define whether an event has occurred or not. So you click the configure button to very easily and quickly see that. So if we see that closed price, that's this right here, that's the price bar that we have predefined. So if closed price is greater than EMA 15, is the price greater than or less than our moving average? In this case, it's greater than, then it's bullish. If it's bullish, then I get to choose the color. The color then can be defined as green. Here you can click on that and pick a color, or you can define a color. You're not really limited to that at all. You even have a palette here of colors that you can predefine to use. Is everyone still with me? Have I lost anybody? You can still hear me and see me okay. Okay, thank you, Juan. So we move along. So, oh, I need to choose the color. Green. That was the wrong green. I got a little darker green there. That looks good. All right, and here, condition 2. We will configure, in this case, we're looking for a closed price. We want it to be less than our EMA 15. This is a simple example. In that case, I can put a description that's bearish. If I want to be notified when it becomes bearish, then I can click this and set up notification preferences, i.e. put in my phone number, set up the SMS notifications, whether I want to include a snapshot or an alert with the notification and so forth. And notice also there are 3 different comparisons that can be made. In this case, there's only one that I need to make. I'm looking at an EMA 15 cross. If I don't have that, if I'm just comparing a simple value, then I can compare the close to a specific line. So if the price gets down below a specific threshold, that I want to trigger that. Basically, if you're looking at it as an overnight low, Globex value, whatever it is you're looking for, you can compare that and do the comparisons. Again, when it's red, if it's bearish, I can define the color, any color that I want this to be. So right now I'm saying that green is bullish and red is bearish. And by default, if it's not bullish or bearish, then it will be yellow. And you can just choose any default color that you want. Any configurations that are in here. So far I have no configurations in any of the other conditions. So once I close this out, then this will be set up. Now, if I have other rules to enter, that is another rule that would set a color, then I can add that and choose my own configuration. So you can see I'm not really limited at all on the amount of complexity that I can use on setting up my rules. It's very easy, and once it's set up, it's just simple. Once you have defined your color rule, then you tell it where to go. So in this case, I've defined the main color rule as the background color of each of the squares. Notice there's a background, there's a foreground, there's a border, and a highlight. And then there's the specific value itself. You can put the actual value of your indicator in this value screen here, and it will plot for you the actual number or the value. So if you want to see the actual output on your scanner, then that's what the value set is for. All right, the border, that's the outer rim of this, and I have an example set up to show you what that looks like. And the highlight is the very center portion of the box, and so you can have the background color, you can have a foreground color painted on top of that, you can have a border around the color, and you can have the center dot set up to show you 4 different configurations in addition to the value that can be displayed on top of your scanner. So you're really not limited to that. In addition, you can keep as many notes and trade setups or examples that you want. So if there is a trade that you had on the Australian New Zealand pair on a 30-minute chart, then you'd see a small blue dot showing that you have a note set up for that, or a blue dot that showed that you have an actual trade example set up for that. If you're currently in a trade, it will show you that on your scanner. Workspace. You can see on my screen, I have two different workspaces, two different charts set up. I have the AussieCAD M30 and the AussieCAD H1. You can see on my configurator, I have an M30 and an H1, but notice the symbols are blank. And I'm loading it with a template called EMA. Now the EMA is automatically pulled from the cloud, but in order to make sure that it is saved, then you would want to back it up on your computer so that you have both on the computer and on the cloud. So that way it'll always be set up and saved. You can auto sync that with a new indicator that we put out that allows you to sync anything you've drawn on your chart with MT4Professional, but we can get into that a little bit later. And always make sure that the MT4Professional tools indicator is loaded on any of the templates that you use within this setup. If you have any questions, the question marks that you see on any of the setups or configuration panels is a link that will automatically open up the documentation on the user's website in order for you to see the help that's available for this setup. Any notes that you might have about this particular chart layout? If you want to change this, if you want to move the windows to make them a little bit bigger, size it up in any way, you can do that right here on the configuration panel. If you want to add another one, if you wanted to come up and make it a 4x4. 4 rows. Oh, that only shows 2. Oh, I had them overlapped. Then you just set it up that way. If you wanted to add 2 more charts, you could. Add 6 more charts, you could. There they are. Okay, and notice that only 2 of them have templates on it, these 2. The other ones don't have templates because they were all added. If I wanted to add the same template into each one of the windows, all I need to do is under File, Apply Template to All. It's a very quick and easy way to adjust and to add templates to everything to allow you to set that. So we'll put the EMA template. Ready to go. It doesn't look like I have it locally saved. I need to save the EMA template to my computer in order to save that. Yeah. See, notice it's not available on my list of local templates. So what I have to do is I have to save it locally first, and then I'll be able to pull it in. So I'll just go ahead and close this and not save it. Right-click, template, save template. I'm going to call it just that. EMA. Make sure it's not there anywhere. It's not. Save. Now I have this template of this chart set up, saved, and then now when I go back into my workspace, I can go ahead and add my 4 more charts, set them all up. Now I can add the same template to all of them. There's the EMA right there. So now I have the EMA template loaded onto all of my charts. So when I do load it up, I'll have a 30-minute. In these cases, these are all by default set up to be daily, but I don't want them to all be daily. That doesn't make any sense. So what I will do is on this configuration, I'm going to just set up a simple 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, hourly, and 4 hour. And that way it's all set up that way. And again, notice the symbols are blank. I leave those blank because if they're blank, all I have to do is click once on my symbol list and all of these chart windows will automatically populate with the symbol. So let me save this EMA and price. Save workspace. Close that. Notice the workspace is yellow. I have to reload the EMA and price workspace, and then it will automatically come up with the 6 windows I just gave it, showing the price and the exponential moving average that was already predefined by the chart. And if I wanted to, since I now have the 1, 5, 15, 30, 60, and out 4 hour, I can set up my scanner to look at all of those time frames as well. Very simple and easy to configure and to do. If I wanted to look at the Aussie yen, all the charts will change to the Aussie yen chart. Very nice. Let me close my data window. Notice the size of the screen changed a bit now. So all I need to do is just click the redraw button and it automatically fills in the amount of space I have available. If I wanted to go full screen, I click the F11 button on the chart. Notice it gives me full screen and gets rid of all of my other windows. So a simple click of my redraw gives me a full screen setup. If I have multiple monitors, and I do, then all I need to do is click the attach button here. The attach button detaches the configuration panel here from the chart, allows me to drag it over onto another monitor, so it gives me even more desktop space that I can work with. So it's all about real estate and it's all about how you manage it. So we have a lot of tools that give you the ability to do that. Click the attach button one more time and it puts it right back on again and you're set up. If I hit the F11 key to get me back into not full screen mode, again, I'm truncated, I'm back into my normal setup. I just will redraw and I'm right back into where I was. Easy peasy. Now I need to set it back up to the 2 that I had before, so I want to get rid of these 4. I have 2, I want to set those up. Now why isn't it doing that? That's interesting. I'll just start over. How's that? Didn't like it. I broke it. Okay. It doesn't like that. Well, let me close it then. I won't save it. Now, obviously, it didn't like that. I'll work on that, but it's pretty easy to set up. I didn't run into this problem before on when I was doing it. But any questions so far? Is there any feature that you would like me to demonstrate or show that you were curious about? I was going to show you the MACD. Okay, I've got the MACD set up here, and if we were to pull up the data window for the MACD, then you can see if we were to roll over the specific point that the MACD has two individual indicators. The MACD itself is index 0, and the signal for the cross is index 1. So if I were to pull up the scanner for the MACD, you can see I have the MACD indicator that's here, and I have index value 0. All I'm looking for is for that index value configuration to be less than 0. So if the MACD is less than 0, it's bearish. Okay. If MACD is greater than 0, it's bullish. Very simple. You can do the same for relative strength or any other indicator for that matter. If you want to see a little more complex example, I think I've got one right here. Yeah, see, here's one where you can see, look at that, look at the amount of data that's available within a lot of these custom indicators. This one I have set up for 3 charts. I have one chart I like to be larger than the others, and then I've got 2 charts that are smaller. So if I were to look at the workspace for this configuration, then you can see I've predefined this one chart to be large, and the other 2 are small. I just basically moved this setup, and if I wanted to make them smaller, I can do that. Just by resizing these windows, it will translate directly into my output screen. Okay. The time frame, I predefined the time frames. If I have any notes on there, then it will show a small blue button on the corner, and it will show what the notes are and how they're configured. If I want to take any specific notes on this configuration, then there's a window to allow you to type in and add any notes that you have on setting this up and how it's done. And notice I have different templates for each window. So I have a Hawkeye 2 roadkill, I have a Hawkeye original on the other 2, and so I'm looking at a lot of changes, a lot of different sets that are coming in here. Okay. Also, you'll see on the scanner, you can see I'm also using a lot of different parts of the scanner as well. So let's pull the scanner up and let's look at that. The scanner, in a little more complex setup, I'm looking at 3 different setups. I'm looking at a trend up, I'm looking at a trend down, I'm looking at a neutral trend using the same indicator. And see, notice I'm using index 0, index 1, or index 2. Those are the outputs of the indicator itself. Hawkeye volume also has 3 outputs for the 3 different color codes associated with it. The heat map has 4, 0, 1, 2, and 3. It's a heat map up, heat map down, dark and dark up and dark down. Okay. And then I have 3 different configuration rules for color. Here I've got a trend color, I've got volume color, and I have heat map color. And I'm going to display those on different parts of my scanner. So my trend I'm displaying in the background. So the background color of each of these cells will be what color is the trend that I'm in. Green being an uptrend, white being a neutral or congested trend, and red being a downtrend. The heat map, that's basically telling me the momentum. So I'm saying the border color, see the color of this border right here? That's telling me what the momentum of that current chart is. Here's another border, here's a dark, here's a bright, here's a dark, here's another one that's setting up. And then the volume is displayed by the small dots in the centers, the highlight. So here you can see red volume is coming in. Here you can see green volume. When it's a solid red box, that means you've got red volume, red heat map, and red trend. So everything is in alignment when it's just a solid box. But when there's any disagreement, then you'll see the highlights coming out and displayed on the chart that way. It's even though it's a complex indicator and it's complex setup, it's very easy to pull it up. Just pull in your indicator, give it any name that you want to give it. These are all just any name that you can come up with that means something to you. And then the name of the color rules are the same thing. These are just names that you can give. I can call this one TCR for trend color rule. VCR is volume color rule, and HCR would be a heat map color rule. It doesn't care. As long as you use the names that you've come up with and define them in the fields, piece of cake. Okay, now I'm finally getting some questions coming in, so that's good. Let me see if I can answer some of those. Let's see, resizing the chart's done only by changing the pixels, not by dragging the edges, like in MT4. No, in this case, you drag the edges of the chart, yeah. So let me show you that real quick. See, notice that on this chart here, I can't change, I physically can't move the size of it. If I wanted to go full screen, I could. See that? I can go full screen, it's not a problem. So you can check and analyze it and use it any way you want to, but you can't physically change the size of this window without going into the workspace configurator and physically just changing the size of the window. Once you do this and save it, then it will save and translate back out onto your screen. So you set it once and then forget it, and it'll always draw back up to the same way. Okay. So if I have these set up as Aussie, New Zealand, let me get rid of that. Let me redraw it, get all that back again. Let's go back, let's look at the Euro US dollar then. Okay, so it's very quick and easy to see the setups. You know, we can see across the board that my dollar yen, I'm in neutral, I'm in congestion on my 5 and 15-minute charts, but it's coming out of a downtrend. I'm starting to see buying volume coming in, so I've got a buy setup. Anytime you see volume leading 3 time frames into a direction, you know you're having a potential reversal or a trade setup because you were in a downtrend, and now you're starting to get long volume and long congestion coming in. So that's a good setup there as well. Here you can see the Australian dollar was in a downtrend, but it looks like it's cycling back down because the longer time frame is green, but it's got red volume. So this is a rollover as well. So you've gone from an uptrend into a downtrend, and it's a downtrend setup just like that. And here on the euro, you can see the euro just went into a new downtrend. It was congested in the 30-minute, 15-minute, and it was an uptrend from the 30-minute. So it came from an uptrend into a congestion, and then now it's in a brand new downtrend. Hey, Mick, you assume you can type in non-standard MT4 timeframes such as 3, 6, and 12. Can you show how that would be done? Absolutely. Notice the custom timeframe button right here, CTF. If you click on CTF, custom timeframe, then automatically pulls in and allows you to set it up, and it's called a bonus because, you know, custom timeframes are featured to allows you to do that. So this is something we have to display, but all you're really concerned about are the bottom buttons. You want to enable or disable custom timeframes to be displayed. In this case, I have already enabled custom timeframes, so I don't have to worry about that anymore on that. I believe I have some already set up, so I'm just going to click them and load them. I've already enabled them. Here's one right here. Here's a MACD on a 3, 6, and 12-minute. All right, so here is a 3-minute. These are live charts. They're not offline charts. They're all live charts. So you can see a 3-minute. Here's a 6-minute. Here's a 12-minute and an hourly chart. Of course, you can see I can mix and match them any way that I want to. So let's look at the workspace and see how I've got that configured. Notice all I did was I just simply entered M3 on my period. That's all you have to do. So when you're in multiple time frame, you treat odd time frames like you do regular MT4 time frames. So instead of being limited to just these set of time frames, you have now the ability to put in any time frame that you want. And it goes through and it calculates what these actual time frames are and displays them for you on the screen. Yeah, right now the scanner, the scanner is not set up to do non-standard time frames. So if you pull the scanner up, then the scanner itself doesn't give you non-standard time frame inputs. It's something that we are working on, but we're still limited to just the regular MT4 time frames within the scanner itself. So right now we are working on that, and that is an upgrade feature we're still getting to, but apologize for that. But it will be out in a future update. Well, the display of the symbols in the scanner sometimes will feel slow depending upon the complexity of the indicator that's being used. So this is a very complex setup, but it's already filled in. Other questions? You're welcome, Mick. Your watch list has 200 symbols. Goodness, you want to have all 200 symbols listed in there? Well, the market watch will have a lot of them. You can have a lot of symbols loaded up within your market watch. You don't have to have all those in there. You define your watch list from your symbol setup. So by defining your symbol is your symbol configurator, then you can pull up and define. If you wanted to load every single symbol that you have into a watch list, you can. You can set up that list and create it with every single symbol that you have access to. Absolutely, you can do that. No problems. Here I've just got, these are all just the Aussie pairs. If I wanted to switch that over to just the index CFDs and metals, or if I wanted to have all the Forex pairs and so forth, it's, you're not limited to anything. If you have access to the data, then you can pull it up and load it. All right, on this particular one, notice I've got 4 columns, 30-minute, hourly, 4-hour, and daily. And I'm loading it up on all of the Forex pairs. And if you look at the indicator list that's on the chart, you can see I have the MT4Professional tools is loaded. I've got 4 different moving averages, and I have auto sync loaded onto the chart. The auto sync allows you to update any changes that you've made to your chart. So say, for example, if I'm on this chart and I want to put a couple of moving averages in. These are trend lines that show me where my downtrend was broken, and it came right back down in. So this is false breakout. You can see that by the 3rd bar. But you have downtrends. Whenever you draw on your chart and you want to save those, make sure that your indicator list includes auto sync, so that if you were to go and change to another symbol like the CAD Swiss, for example, and then you go back to your Aussie CAD, your drawn symbol stays. If you had another setup where you did a lot of changes, for example, let's go back to the EMA and price. Notice the Aussie CAD trend line is missing. Okay. Therefore, to go back to the SMA cross. And I can continue to draw those, it will remain. All right, good. Claudio is helping me in the background. If you like this setup and you want to share it with somebody, then if you go up under the scanner configuration file, under File, select Save Scanner As, and then here you have a choice. You can give it a name, give it the same name, or you can click on the name and you can share it. Okay, I can pull in, save, set up, anything. So all the information is set up there. So if I wanted to open up a new scanner, then I can open up the MA9 scanner that's found there. Or if someone had sent me one, I can open up the scanner that was sent to me from somebody else. Any of the other people that have sent me scanners can be loaded in as well. Okay. If I want to send this to someone and see the little send button right here, I can send that to someone. It will come up and allow me to search through. And there's Claudio. I can send it to Claudio, or I can send it to Andy. Let me see. There's Mick Peace, there's Mr. Seaton, Mr. Williams. So there's a lot of Michaels out there. So you can see once you find the guy that you're interested in, then you can click on that name and send them any of the setups or configuration files that you have found. And that's just simply by clicking on the send button within the scanner save or configuration file. Okay, any other questions before we close this down? I get to a very special offer for you guys to get going on this if you're not already MT4 professional users. Is everyone here in the room already using MT4 Professional, or are you on the trial version? Are you, if you're already subscribers, then not necessary. Okay, no more other questions then. Okay, well, let me see if I can pull back up to the setup. Hey, Vana, welcome back. Yeah, I thought you might have moved off of MT4 too, but hey, now that we're done with the demonstration part and just give you a chance to get back in a very special time, we want to offer MT4Professional, all the features, the market scanner, the smart workspace, the mobile real-time scanners and alerts, multiple time frame, technical analysis, and even custom time frames. You know, total value of about $595 per month on features. But 14-day free trial, everything that you have set up here. We normally would list this for $194 a month, but we have cut that in half. $97 a month. That's what you can get MT4. You can get the first 14 days free. And then after that, it'll be $97 a month. And you lock in the price once it's set. You set it and you forget it until you cancel. Once you cancel, the special goes away and it goes back up to the full price. Yeah, all of the alerts that are available in MT4 are available to you through MT4Professional. So pop-ups and rings or whatever sound effects that you have in MT4 will work in MT4Professional. You can also integrate that with your phone through SMS or email to send you email alerts as well. To get going to that, just go to mt4professional.com/trial to get going on your right now. mt4professional.com/trial. Let me get a copy of that into the link here. Click on that link and we'll take you to the Getting Started page. Now I've already gone over all the Q&A, so if you have any questions or any comments, then you can contact us at support@mt4professional.com, where we can answer all of your questions or get you the help that you need. Thank you very much, Phil. Is there anything else you'd like for me to show you before we head out? I think we're kind of going into some quick Q&A right now in the background. I think Claudio is answering a lot of questions on the fly. If there's anything I need to show or answer on the air, I'll be glad to. These are using 4 simple moving averages. You can see fast, medium, slow, and very slow. So if you were to look at the setups for the scanner, then you can see I'm using a 15, 30, 50, and 100 period moving averages. These are all just simple moving averages. And you can see I have, looking at the outputs of the averages, and I have each one of them set up using the parameter 1 feature, 15, 30, 50, and 100. And if the main color, which I have displayed in the background, is red, then I know that I'm in a downtrend. it's green, it's in an uptrend. If it's yellow, then it's a neutral trend. That means that the configuration is set up such that like this one right here, notice that this is in a downtrend, but your blue line has crossed above your green and your orange, which means that's a bullish sign, but it has not crossed the red, which is bearish. It's neutral. So it's not in a full downtrend at the moment. So that's the logic. So on my definition of my rules, then you can see if the MA15 is less than the 30 is less than the 50, and the 50 is less than the 100, then it's bearish. And if it's bearish, it will be red. Same thing with the bull. If it's bullish, it would be green. Otherwise, if it doesn't meet any of these two conditions, then it will be yellow. And it will make the background color the color of this main color, either red, green, or yellow. And that's what you can see here. Notice there's a little dot right in the middle of this Aussie CAD. That means that there's a note attached to that. And you can see there's a small blue dot in the corner of this 4-hour Aussie CAD. That also means that there is a note attached to that chart. So that way you can always see at any point whether you have notes, why you put a note there, and what that particular note is. So let me click on that chart. Let me pull up my note and see what that is. And you can see I've got 2 notes actually attached here. These are just test notes and stuff that are attached to the chart. But they're there to show you that you can put and set up and add notes to any of the charts that you like. If you do need help at any point in time, then if you log into the members area, then you have access to download the software at any point. And if you click on the little icon here, then you can go into email us. You can look at your own specific settings. You can look at the setups notifications. Either these are general notifications to say that there's a new symbol is set up that was sent to me and received. Here are announcements. New version releases come out and what's included in that. And so you have all the different information that's available to you within the members area. You have access to manage all of your MT4 accounts and licenses. I currently have 3 setup accounts where I can have 3 live licenses and 3 demo licenses. I have 3 demo licenses that I've used, and I have 1 remaining real license. So you can see I've got 3 demo already used, and I have 1 license, real one used. So I have 2 more real licenses that I can still get access to. The real-time scanner link, this shows you the specific scanner. So if I'm looking at the specific desktop I'm looking at, then you can see this is reproducing on the web this same scanner. So if I were to look at this on my phone, all I have to do is just go and pull up MT4Professional on my phone, and I would get this same symbol list right here. This scanner result would be displayed on that, and you can see that as it updates, as this updates, so will this live. So I don't have to have MT4Professional on my phone. All I need is MT4 background, and it's good to go. I can click on this on a symbol to get a snapshot of it in real time. So see, here's the Aussie CAD. If I click on the Aussie CAD here, it automatically goes and retrieves the snapshot of that setup page and will display it here for me. Yeah. If I were to take a look at that right there, there we go. That's the same setup exactly that we've currently got right here. And if I click on any of the other links, it automatically would do that too. And you saw that it would automatically set it up in your chart as well. Now you do have to have this chart here running. So on your computer, you'd have you'd have MT4Professional running, and you'd have this chart set up so that if you're out in your mobile, then you can always look at it and access it on the fly. Any snapshots that I have taken, I've got access to in my library here, and I can break them down and give them tags. These are all the breakout trades. These are all my tomahawk trades. These are all the euro trades and so forth that I've looked at. And so you can see the images that were taken, the setups that were used, and whether I want to share them or not. Here are the share links. And if I want to make it public or private, then I can define whether I want those pictures to be seen by people or not. And if I want to share them socially. So it's all there with a single click, ready to use. Simple, simple. MT4Professional.com/trial to get started. If you're already in there, then at the end of the trial, you'll automatically roll over into the special $97 per month subscription rate. Pound Aussie is very bullish. You can see that on the scanner, all 4 time frames bullish. You can see on the charts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all bullish. Everything's crossed over, so you're looking for the red at the bottom and the blue at the top on all the charts. They're all bullish. The same with the pound Canadian. Same thing. Boom, 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 boom. 4, 4, 4, 4 and bullish. Here you've got 2 red, 2 yellow on the dollar Canadian. So let's see what we've got here. The 2 red, so these should be red on top, blue on the bottom. Red on top, blue on the bottom. So you've got the 30-minute and hourly downtrend. But here you've got the blue is crossed under the green, but your green is still over the orange and the red. So this is a neutral trend. And here you've got a big mishmash of stuff. So it's a neutral trend. So there's the neutral undefault color. So once you know what your rule sets are, it's very easy to look over at the scanner, very quickly rifle through all of your symbols and find out where the best trade opportunities are. The Euro Aussie, 30 minutes just went into a long trend from a neutral trend, okay? That's a possible setup because you can see the fastest time frame is just switched over. It's going along, and you can see based upon your hourly, it's just starting to get into its triple top, got a break and a potential pull out. Okay, so here's a very good potential build for a breakout long. And the potential for that long would be to a break of this high because we have a lower high. I mean, here you have a higher low, and we have created a lower high. So now this is a really good setup. If all we need to see now is for this high to be broken right there. And then we've got exactly what we've been waiting for. And it's confirmed. So that's how quickly you can look for and identify trade setups using the scanner. No other company has a scanner as professional and as accurate as this that can be configured using your tools, your indicators, and your own rules. Any last minute questions or comments before we head out of here? Again, we can be contacted at support@mt4professional.com. It has been recorded, and you will get a link in the mail because you registered for this. You'll get a link in the mail to get you signed back up again. and to receive the recording. You're welcome, Vana. Good to see you. Good to see you, Juan and Mick. Okay, let me go ahead and close this down. Cheers, Mick.